I bet. Welcome back to another episode of Toxiris Thoughts. Today we got my top 5 drill albums of all time. This includes New York, UK, and Chicago drill. Let's get into it.
It's the gang, we done came on. The gang.
Alright, so before we get into the video, you voted for this on my IG. So if you want to vote for newer videos, follow my IG, link in the description, or just search up at the Toxiris on IG. Anyway, let's get into it. Well, in this video I will be covering albums that I personally really like. They are in my top 5 favorite drill tapes of all time. So I won't have a lot of time to cover bad stuff, or I just won't have a lot of bad stuff to say about any of these. But obviously, if there's something I'd like to know, I will. Before we get into the top 5, I'd just like to give Get Money Take Over Part 1 by Bizzy Banks an honorable mention. That project is just not in the top 5 because it has a couple too many misses for me. Like both the Quarantine freestyles were not as good in my opinion, and there was a couple other tracks that just weren't as good. But it is overall an exceptional drill tape, so if you haven't heard it yet, definitely check it out. Number 5, Signed to the Streets Part 1 by Lil Durk. This project is ranked this low mainly because out of the projects in my top 5, it has the most mid tracks in the track list, which, while not being horrible, did drag down my overall opinion and enjoyment of the album as a whole. But besides that, it is prime Durk in my opinion. He brings in hard bars, good production, and doesn't sound the same on 80% of the tracks as he does today. Bangers like Can't Go Like That, Traumatized, This Ain't What You Want still sound fucking amazing and are in my playlist to this day. Yes, the album was released almost 9 years ago, but I think it has not only aged gracefully, but like some fine wine. And even besides the actual music, this album was influential to the whole Chicago drill sound and even to what happened and still happens on the streets of Chiraq. Overall, just a great project. Make sure to check it out if you like drill and you haven't heard it yet. Number 4, Growth and Development by 22G's. 22G's second project and by far his best in my opinion. No misses besides maybe Drill Girl, which was not horrible, but easily the worst track on the album. 22 just shows why he's one of the most popular and influential drill rappers, not only from Brooklyn, but from New York as a whole. The track Suburban Part 2 is already legendary in New York City drill, and one of the most popular and most talked about songs by 22G's. I could talk about every single track on here and why it is enjoyable, energetic, obnoxious in some good way. The producers on this project, and mainly Ghosty, really made this album one of the best produced I have heard in drill so far. There are absolutely no features throughout the album, but honestly, I didn't need any. All I needed was Tutu's great flow and the production that together fused together to make a masterpiece. The only major problem that helps drag this album down just a little bit is the missing depth of some of the tracks. They just flow by, and even though they sound amazing, they don't really leave anything besides the energy. On number 3, we have a project I just recently reviewed, Drillers X Trappers Part 2 by RV and Headie One. I don't think I have to talk about this project for that long. If you're really interested in more detailed thoughts from me, I have already reviewed the project not too long ago. I already knew RV and Headie One were more than just talented drill rappers and had a lot in them, but from the solo projects that I have heard, I never got anything as special as this one. Not one miss here. Just a hook on Roddy Ricch was not as good as it could have been. You might already notice from the little details that I have to point out as negative how much I like this project. And honestly, that's all I can say. Great production, great flows. Overall, just a very, very good drill tape. Hence why it is on number 3 of my favorite drill tapes of all time. Well, for number 2, I have 2 projects at the same time but by the same artist. Because on the top 5, I didn't want to place one artist twice because that would have just messed the whole list up. We got Meet the Woo and Meet the Woo 2 by Pop Smoke. Well, for this one, as I already said, I would like to throw in 2 albums. Both Meet the Woo tapes are absolutely amazing, even though for slightly different reasons. Meet the Woo has consistency, not one miss, all bangers, but Meet the Woo 2 has 1 or 2 just okay tracks, but more absolutely great tracks that even got into the mainstream. I know that Meet the Woo had Welcome to the Party and Dior, but besides that, most of the tracks are pretty underrated. Meet the Woo 2 had Invincible, War, Element, and Christopher Walken, and they aren't even completing the list. So, to get to the point, both of these together are probably the most important and influential drill albums that we have seen coming out of New York. The deep voice plus hard beat combo that even after Pop Smoke's unfortunate passing still rules parts of New York City drill comes from this project. Dusty Locane and Quelly Woo are just two examples of rappers that blew up pretty quick after people seemed to take them as some kind of replacement for Pop. Definitely some of the best drill tapes of all time, and my personal favorite from New York. Then, on number 1, we have, again, 2 albums, but these ones for completely different reasons. We have Finally Rich and Bang 3 by Chief Keef. We have a double placement that is not as logical as the other one, but I couldn't really decide which one of these albums I liked more. I know that a lot of Chief Keef fans really shit on Finally Rich these days and praise Bang 3. I think they are basically on the same level, just that Finally Rich has this unavoidable amount of influence. I mean, it basically popularized drill and was the founding project for all of the other ones on this list, while still sounding amazing to this day. Bang 3, on the other hand, is just really enjoyable, also worthy of this placement. So these are the reasons as to why both of these projects are the best and most important drill albums of all time. Well, saying of all time is kind of stupid since the genre really only exists for about a decade. Still, these albums all had their influence evolving and later shaping a new and fresh sound that was hot not only in America and in the UK, but around the whole world. So yeah, this were my top 5 drill projects. Let me know what you think about my top 5 in the comment section. Give me a like, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and follow my IG. With that being said, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, have a great one.
Remember back then, all them hoes ain't want me. Now I'm ballin', all them same hoes on me. Mama told me that this came with the money and the motherfucking fame, even though I feel the same. I'm that nigga now, I'm that nigga now, I'm that nigga now, I'm that nigga now.